Hi there, this is Pride Weekly. We'll start with Monday. Dozens of people have turned out to support a transgender student who's been left with a broken jaw after an attack at school. Cobalt Sovereign was punched as she left a bathroom at Hopkins High in Minnesota in the US. The 17-year-old was also called a homophobic insult. Wilder Sovereign's her brother. He tells WCCO about the impact on Cobalt.
She has to hold off on eating solid foods. There's a possibility for traumatic brain injury, so she has to be careful of how much strenuous activity she does. I'm disgusted by that facet of our community for enabling this to happen.
A student's been suspended, although this claims the school never called for an ambulance or the police. The attack's now being investigated as a possible hate crime. 2 men have been jailed in Senegal after they accused the new Prime Minister of tolerating homosexuality. Perish the thought. They were angry Ousmane Sonko let a visiting French politician express his support for same-sex marriage. The pair have got 3 months in prison for spreading false news in a video. Being gay is illegal in the West African country. And the International Olympic Committee's put out new guidance on how trans athletes should be referred to by journalists. Suggests avoiding terms like biologically male or born female and saying transgender man or trans woman instead. Also recommends talking up an athlete's sporting history, not just focusing on their gender identity. The games start in Paris next month. Looking forward to watching Tom Daley compete due to my keen interest in diving. Just so keen. It's Pride Daily for Tuesday. We'll start with a lovely email from the chairman of the Republican Party in Colorado in America with the subject line, God hates pride. It accuses queer people of being groomers, predators, degenerates, barbaric and reprobates. To be fair though, I totally am a reprobate. Also links to a sermon called God Hates Flags. See what they did there. But calls now from within the party in Colorado for the chair to resign. Dave Williams being accused of a hateful stunt and of lacking effective communication skills. Councilman Curtis Gardner tells Next 9 News he's so appalled he's quit the party.
It's really a soul-searching moment to say, am I okay with this? Is this the behavior that I want to model for my kids? And am I okay being part of an organization that acts like this? And upon reflection, the answer is no.
A subsequent social media post from Colorado Republicans said, "Burn all the pride flags this June," accompanied by a fire gif. A man's been put in a mental hospital in Pakistan because he was trying to set up the country's first gay club. He wanted to open a venue in Abbottabad, where nearly 240 million people live, but there was a backlash after the plans leaked on social media. Being gay is illegal in Pakistan. The man says he's fighting for everyone's human rights to be defended. And there's plans for the first same-sex wedding in space. Italian couple Alessandro Motorosso and Alexander will boldly go where no gays have gone before next year. The pair are paying $100,000 for a private space flight for them and 6 guests. How do you catch the bouquet though? It's Pride Daily for Wednesday. On the 8th anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida, the annual 49 Bells ceremony takes place later. They'll ring to remember the 49 people killed at the LGBTQ+ venue in Orlando back in 2016. There'll also be a service of remembrance. Killer Omar Mateen was shot dead by police. The 29-year-old was carrying 2 guns. Over the weekend, thousands turned out for the yearly Community Rainbow Run, raising money for a permanent memorial. This mum tells WKMG News 6 why she turned out for the event.
Now I have 2 children and I want to make sure they are aware that love is love, and I want to make sure they hear it from me, and we're making this an annual thing.
53 people were injured in the shooting. It remains the worst attack on queer people in US history. Two former Olympic athletes have spent 10 hours in a prison cell in America, accused of spraying each other with water bottles like two gay cyclists. Dutch riders Laurens ten Dam and Thomas Dekker say this is what was on the formal charge sheet. The pair had been freshening up in a car park in Kansas after a sweaty 3-hour training ride ahead of an upcoming race. They were arrested at gunpoint. The case against them was later dropped. And if Pride Daily isn't the place to tell you about a group called Dykes Who Hike, then everything I know is wrong. It's been set up in London to help queer women and non-binary people get together, with plans to expand elsewhere in the UK. More than 200 people turned out for the latest hike, and the group's now got nearly 12,000 followers on Instagram. It's Pride Daily for Thursday. There's moves in Georgia, the one in Europe, to majorly crack down on LGBTQ+ rights. Parliament's to discuss a family values bill, which would outlaw same-sex marriage and adoption and gender reassignment surgery. References to queer people in the media and public spaces would be banned, with schools stopped from teaching about gay relationships and gender dysphoria. Tato Londorizzi from the LGBTQ+ rights group Tbilisi Pride. He tells AFP many queer people there are leaving.
Most of them are afraid, most of them thinking to leave out this country and go somewhere. I know several people already bought tickets. I think in the end, in Georgia, there will not be open queer people.
All this is very similar to what's been happening next door in Russia. There's been condemnation from the European Union and America. The Pope was in trouble the other week over claims he'd used a homophobic insult, and if some new reports are true, seems he's really got a taste for it. He's accused of basically repeating what he said the last time. I'm not going there again, Google it. Italian media claims it happened during a meeting with priests in Rome on Tuesday. And Kristen Stewart signed up to play the first out queer astronaut, Sally Ride. The star of Twilight, Love Lies Bleeding, and The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas is doing a TV series called The Challenger. Sally flew on the Challenger space shuttle in 1983, and she also became the first American woman to go into orbit and the youngest American. And you can find out more about her in one of our specials on LGBTQ+ trailblazers. Just look up May 24th's Pride Daily. It's Pride Daily for Friday. A 12-year-old boy banned from wearing an anti-trans t-shirt by his school has lost his appeal in court. 3 judges have ruled Nichols Middle School in Massachusetts in America didn't act unreasonably in response to the top worn by Liam Morrison. The t-shirt read, "There are only 2 genders." It was later adapted to say there are only censored genders. The school's dress code bans hate speech. Liam addressed his school board last year.
I have been told that my shirt was targeting a protected class. Who is this protected class? Are their feelings more important than my rights? I don't complain when I see pride flags and diversity posters hung throughout the school. Do you know why? Because others have a right to their beliefs just as I do.
Says these are his own political opinions. Hasn't been indoctrinated, so don't you even suggest that, you incorrigible cynic. He's already planning another appeal. Seems like Singapore's becoming more and more accepting of queer people. Still on the fence there about certain things, though. A survey for the research firm Ipsos finds when it comes to public displays of affection or having LGBTQ+ characters on TV, most people are neither for nor against. But over half support legalising same-sex marriage and adoption and having non-binary options on official documents. And Matt Bomer reckons being outed as gay meant he didn't get to play Superman. The fellow Travellers actor says he'd actually signed a 3-film deal with Warner Brothers in the early 2000s and left his job on a soap opera for the role. Claims someone weaponised his sexuality by outing him to producers, and the movies never materialised. Well, Superman's dead to me now. It's Wonder Woman all the way. I'm Kev McGrath. See you Monday.